Yeah, thank you very much, Dimitrios, for your nice words. I would also like to say something about you. I admire your determination and your passion in everything you do, and your soft way to convince people to do something, meaning forcing. And I'm happy you forced or convinced me to come here to Bilbao, because I have found relatives here. I don't know if you have heard about this theory that the Finns and the Basques, that we have some kind of a relationship from earlier days. Very, very long ago, the original Europeans, meaning the Basques and the Finns, they were pushed by the Indo-Europeans to the north and to the west. And after seeing your video clip and everything that I heard yesterday evening, I'm convinced that we are related somehow, because cutting trees and rowing and carrying things and so on, it's something very similar what we are doing up in the north. You were carrying some boxes in the video clip yesterday evening. In my country, we are carrying wives. There's, for example, world championships in wife carrying. Okay, but I'm not here to talk about Finland. There is also surprisingly similarities in our languages, the Basque languages and the Finnish language. For example, we don't have gender like feminine, masculine. Basque, no, not either. And we are using suffixes like you do. So, well, I start to be convinced that we are somehow. We have a connection somehow. So how many Basques do we have here in the room? All right. And how many Finns? 3?
We can honor Finns as well.
And how many of you are out of the outside of Europe? So the rest are those bad Indo-Europeans. Okay, but to the Basques, hello, sisters and brothers. Okay, so I come from Lapland, the northern part of Finland, and it's also the most northern county in the European Union. Here are some facts. It's a huge area, as large as Portugal, but we only have 200,000 people living there, and 200,000 reindeers, and only one Santa Claus. And I visited ENTER 2012 in Helsingborg, and that was the time when I started to build the branding for the whole region, not only for tourism, but also for all industries in the region. And this is actually the DNA of the region here. The main message is Lapland is above ordinary, not only on the map, on the top, but also mentally and spiritually and in everything we do, because the Arctic circumstances are made us to being something above ordinary. And if Mr. Moderator allows, I would like to show and take the people to...
Mr. Moderator allows.
All right. It takes only 1.3 minutes, but it shows Lapland in a very, very simplified way what we are. Okay, I hope the link is functioning. Huh? What is this?
Boom!
the grip of winter lasts long. For a moment, dreams alight and rest, and then they rise and follow the sun, leaving behind icy Lapland. 100 years ago, Lapland seemed even bigger than today. The distances felt long, and winter felt even longer. But now it's time to experience Lapland today. Lapland is a rare combination of countless small villages, urban city centres and tourist resorts, but still plenty of room for everyone. Here you'll find tundra, lakes, the sea, roaring rivers, silence and the sounds of life in nature. Five airports serve business and leisure travellers, and the ports of Kemi and Tornio transport goods year-round. And tomorrow, when the Arctic Sea Railroad is here, train connections will improve still further. Lapland is a region that works. Lapland today is an important export region for Finland. This is one of the world's leading forest industry regions. In Lapland, we produce paper and wood biomaterial for houses and other wooden structures, packaging and bioenergy. Mining is an important industry in Lapland, and its mineral resources will last for centuries to come. The world's most environmentally friendly steel mill can also be found in Lapland, as well as Europe's only snowmobile factory. Lapland has strong creative industries, Arctic design expertise, and handicraft products. The tourism industry is thriving, with high-quality resorts and services for international guests. Reindeer husbandry is another billion-euro business and an important part of the Lappish identity. The natural products of the pure environment are rich in flavour and healthful benefits. Lapland is also the world's largest area for collecting organic, renewable, natural products. The certified area is 99% of the forest area, about 9 million hectares. Lapland provides a stable and secure investment and business environment supported by strong cross-border cooperation and collaborative networks in an easygoing atmosphere. Our experience of 8 seasons, from summer heat to winter cold, makes Laplanders experts in everyday life in the Arctic, building and travelling in tough conditions. We build on this experience when we develop and test new products and services. The University of Lapland, Lapland University of Applied Sciences and vocational colleges provide training and education for meeting today's challenges. This versatile educational offering creates a vibrant, innovative environment for companies. The Arctic Centre in Rovaniemi is a significant expert institution for Arctic issues. The unique connection with nature offers unforgettable experiences. The midnight sun, the northern lights in winter. It's proven to have the purest air and the cleanest wild food. The most protected forests in Europe, with many nature reserves and 8 national parks. Rovaniemi, the official hometown of Santa Claus. Incredibly beautiful landscapes. Events with a Lappish twist and thousands of outdoor and sports activities for both locals and visitors. A big part of the Lappish identity and cultural heritage are the Sami, the only indigenous people of the European Union. Lapland is above ordinary, spiritually, geographically, and in everything it does. Lapland, above ordinary.
Sorry, as you noticed, it was not 1.3 minutes. We picked the longer version by mistake. All right, but let's talk about the theme of the day, the smart tourism and the challenges in this field. As we heard from Oliver, tourism is a very important industry for many countries. For many countries, the only industry which is growing, like in Greece. It's very important for the region Lapland, for example. And this requires and deserves, of course, smart ICT. But we are not quite there. And I would like to talk about the challenges in this. Based on my personal hands-on experiences during the years, and also based on the stories I have heard from many other regions and countries, I mean, there are wonderful examples of using smart or being smart as a destination, but in a bigger scale, the tourism industry is not so smart yet. And I hope that if we recognize the challenges there, maybe we are then more able to avoid them in the future. So I start with this definition picture, which is published by Mr. Moderator. I don't know if you know this already. I try to explain it very briefly. The smartness means here interconnectivity, of course, and interoperability, and integrated technologies and processes and data to produce innovative services and products to maximize the value for all who are involved in this environment. So the smartness helps when we are shaping something new actions or new products or processes, and it helps to optimize the collective performance on the net and towards the tourists, and also increase the competitiveness of the area. So the smartness is the clue and joint infrastructure. And well, in earlier days, we used to say portal to this kind of working together. I don't know if you are happy with my definition, Mr. Professor. You can add on if you wish to explain it better. But this is the starting point for my presentation, where I try to show the challenges. Let's start with the human capital. So there are a lot of skilled ICT workers in the world who could adopt and implement and maintain and create new ICT solutions for destinations and lead and run the decision-making processes and negotiations with ICT companies, for example, successfully, to work together with them. And in this complex world, you need a basic understanding within the tourism about ICT as a subject, so that you can spot new possibilities for being more smart. And you need to understand what you need and what you do not need, and without being misled by someone like ICT companies who want to offer their services, or, for example, be misled by your advertising agencies or whatever. So you have to have your own competence in this field for the future. So future destination organization companies and tourism in general, they need high-level professional ICT experts close to the very top management level. But the reality is that in many cases, the organization decision makers, they are not willing to pay a good salary for these kind of people, and they do not create needed circumstances for them to work. So the demanding ICT task is often transferred to someone in the company, usually a non-ICT expert. who is not having the necessary knowledge of to this position to deal with technical issues and political pressures. And it is very challenging then to build something very smart under these circumstances. And it is a hard ride for these people who are working within ICT. For the destinations, it is also many times unfair because ICT is many times seen as something you do in add-on. You have some other task as well. So it ends very often in frustration and burnout. So my message to the CEOs or decision makers in these companies, these people are mainly nowadays still from the old school, and they do not have the necessary real interest in ICT. And they are still often underestimating the ICT issues, and they are not able to support their ICT workers either because of that. They haven't been able to create solid ICT policies for their organization to be followed then by the workers there. And generally, I would like to say that the clear vision to this subject is many times missing. Then it is hard for anyone to develop something smart under these circumstances. So my message is to the CEO level and top level and decision makers, you cannot go on like this anymore. You need to take the ICT field seriously. You have to take a clear position there, and you need to be able to sell ICT needs politically and manage the partner chain and understand and implement also the branding values into the ICT infrastructures. And you need to be consistent and appreciate your content producers in your own house and pay them well as they deserve. Next one, the social capital. Referring to everything I said earlier about the human capital, it is clear that the social capital in and around the organization to understand the challenges and possibilities is not growing as it could. Now imagine a real ideal situation where tourism sector cooperation is working successfully. It creates and maintains and extends their bonding and bridging and linking, and subsequently the social capital would assist them in developing and improving their ICT education, communication, and generating economic activities. Frustration, poor ICT policies, and weak participation impede the social capital building. Well, innovations, I cannot say that there are no innovations. For many, it seems there are too many of them. But I think the problem is that there is a lack of intuition how to use them and how to benefit from them. Many great innovations for tourism have also died because the operation was given up too early. And it was not, you did not invest in human resources or in marketing, and because the operator could not see the short-time benefits there. So many innovations were born within projects as well, and then the runtime operators, they did not have the energy and skills to run it afterwards properly. And surprisingly, tourism is behind in other industries in using innovations and in using, for example, let's say group recommendation systems or customized maps or many others like also the big data use is not as big as it could be. And of course, it is a key task to be quick and to be able to make quick reactions here. And one of the reasons why the innovations are not growing is that many organizations, they do not have dedicated resources to evaluate existing and offered innovations, and so that they can propose them to be added to the infrastructure of their company. Governance. This is very complex entity to work together, where many smaller and bigger enterprises are working together somehow. So of course it's obvious that a smart tourism environment has to be managed and coordinated by a party which is open for participation, and developing the collective working and acting together so that it brings something positive for everybody involved. And in many cases this position is questioned. Who is responsible for this? Within regions, for example. Many NTOs and many regional tourist offices have now lost their position in this, which they might once had, weak or strong. But defining a stakeholder for this role is the step one, and a very